Hi, I'm Tyler. This is Fat and Loud. Today we're going to go over 10 things we recommend doing on a used vehicle with an unknown history report. So for the first item on the list is oil change. We recommend just going and get it done or doing it yourself if you're able to. You don't know what the previous owner had or what they put in it. So it's just better just a fresh start. You know what it is, you know your mileage, so you can go from there. The other fluids we can check the levels on and change them as needed. Next on the list is the transmission fluid. This particular vehicle doesn't have a dipstick with it, so it's recommended to take it to a service center to get it checked.
Get out of my ass. I'm not.
It's the same amount of filming you're doing. Oh my god, it's the fucking camera reception.
Next on the list is coolant. You can check the reservoir, make sure it's at the fill line, make sure it's not dirty or greasy. You can go to the auto store and get a tester to see how low it'll freeze at. Make sure it's not going to freeze while it's sitting in your house, garage, because it's not in your house.
Whatever, I would love to have a garage in my house. Can you imagine parking a car in your house? That'd be fucking sweet.
You want a house in your garage.
True, but
Not a garage in your house.
my wife won't let me.
Next would be gear oil. You're already under the car, change the oil. Might as well check that. Very easy, but a very commonly missed item. Next is power steering fluid. If you have hydraulic power steering, just check it, fill up if it needs it. If it is low, you probably do have a leak. So just keep that in mind and get it checked out. Speaking of leaks, while you're under the car, it's always an important thing to check for leaks. That's going to be your telltale sign that you got a problem. Last fluid we're going to check is brake fluid. We're going to check the levels and the conditions of the fluid, make sure it's not dirty and it's not too low. If it is low, one possibility is worn brake pads. Next on the list are brakes. When I first got this vehicle, it was making noises, so I changed out the pads and rotors. Noise went away. The pads might not need to be replaced, but it is smart to at least check them to see how much pad life is left on. Next on the list is the charging system. We're looking at the battery and alternator for this. The battery, you're looking at the terminals, making sure there's no corrosion or anything on them. Make sure there's a nice tight connection. If you want, you can take it to a shop and they can check the cold cranking amps of the battery and also the charging system as a whole, make sure that the alternator is working the way it's supposed to. Next, we got spark plugs. On this particular vehicle, it was pretty easy. I went ahead and did the wires too, just because if you're going to do one, you got to disconnect the other, so might as well do both. They're not very easy on all vehicles, so if you do feel like they need to be done and it's a little harder, feel free to take it to a shop. Next is wipers and fluid. Pretty easy to fill up the fluid, you just fill it till it's at the top. Wipers, as long as it's not streaking, you should be fine. However, if you want to change them, it's a pretty easy fix, so it doesn't hurt to just get a new set on. Next is going to be tires. It's recommended to get them rotated every 6,000 miles, so it's either every oil change if you have full synthetic or every other oil change if you have regular. They do have wear indicators on them, so once they start to get down to that mark in between the tread, you know it's time to change them. During your rotation, what you're looking for is any cracks, dry rot, holes, anything in the tire that might compromise the structural integrity of it. On at least one side of every tire, it's got a DOT code. The last 4 digits of that code represent the week and year it was made. Next on the list is the AC system. Even if your car is blowing out cold air, it's still a good idea to go get it checked by a professional. Next on the list is the belt and or belts. What you're checking for is any cracks on the belt, fraying on the edges. You're making sure the tensioner is still good and you don't have too much play in the belt itself. Next is going to be your air filter and or cabin air filter if you have one equipped. Last item on the list is a fuel system cleaner. The 2 top brands right now are Lucas and Seafoam. You just put them in your tank. I do it every oil change. So that's our top 10 list. If you feel like we missed anything or you want a tutorial on how to do any of these, feel free to comment down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm Tyler, and this is Fat and Loud.
And we'll see you next time. See, that's good.